This is the plaintiff, Deetra Hill. She says her neighbor is a nasty lady who puts rotten food outside her house so her dog will eat it and get sick. She even laced the food with some kind of pills. Her dog had to be taken to the vet 5 times because she got him sick with diarrhea. And she's suing her for the $727 in vet bills she's incurred because of her. This is the defendant, Mildred Wilson. She says she's been putting stale breadcrumbs out for the birds to eat for 25 years. She's not poisoning the plaintiff's dog, who's been a nuisance in the neighborhood for years. She reported him to animal control. They ordered the plaintiff to surrender the dog. The plaintiff's angry about it. That's the only reason she's being sued today. She's accused of harming an animal.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant has been feeding her dog bad food, is intentionally poisoning her dog, and she wants the money for her vet bill. She is simply sick of it. But the defendant says she feeds the birds in her neighborhood and has been doing so for 25 years. She would never harm an animal and is not paying any vet bills for anyone. It's the case of you made my dog sick, and now I'm sick of you.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Hill, you are suing Ms. Wilson for $721 in vet bills that you incurred for your dog because, according to you, she was poisoning your dog. Tell me what you know.
Okay, Your Honor. I moved into the duplex, which is a side-by-side duplex, on January 1, 2021, and Mildred lives on the other side of the duplex. We share a common wall. Immediately after my moving in, when I would go walk my dog, someone was coming into my unit, damaging the floors.
I don't understand how they got in. How would someone get into your duplex to damage your floors?
Mildred had the key before I moved in. She had a key to my unit that she used to show me the unit. The owner gave her permission. The owner gave her the key to show me the unit. And that's how one way she had access to my unit.
And she would go, according to you, she would go into your duplex and do what to your floors?
Go around and around and around to make it look like my dog was damaging the floor with his paws, his nails.
Okay, so
and scraping.
How would she damage the floors?
A sharp instrument was being used. I say this because I had a professional hardwood restorer come to my home to give me an estimate to redo the floors because they've been damaged. And the hardwood floor restorer gentleman brought to my attention, he said, these circle marks are like for a small dog. He said, your dog is a big dog, so from his front legs to his back legs, it's a wider width. But whoever was doing it was trying to make it look like
The floor guy said all that?
Yeah, he saw the circles where you can see it going round and around. I didn't know who was doing it, but what I did start to see, and I thought it was quite interesting that my dog and I, we play inside, we play ball. And whenever he's chasing, we have fun, we're laughing. And what I started to see was that the balls start disappearing from the house, or the main big ball that he has, someone used a drill to drill a hole into the ball. And my dog didn't know, he still kept playing with it. And then subsequently after that, what happened was when I would go walk my dog, there was always some old rotten something in the grass, but it wasn't in front of our building, it was in front of the building next door. And I kept saying, no one lives in that unit. Who's putting that old rotten stuff out there?
What was it?
It was like, you know how if you cook something on the stove and you leave it in a pot and you leave it out for like a week and you forget it's in the pot and you take the lid.
Okay.
Well, if you take the lid off the pot, it smells really bad and moldy.
Okay.
It was like that. It looked like something like old and
rotten. How many
rotten.
times did your dog eat that?
I would say maybe like 6 times, 7 times.
Why wouldn't you just pull the leash on your dog so that your dog wouldn't eat it?
Good question. What happened was, initially, I didn't know it would be there, so I wasn't as vigilant. But then I started being more vigilant. So when I would walk my dog, I would hold his leash tightly as we passed that section. And when we would pass that section, oftentimes there would not be anything there on the grass. But when we would come back, then it would be out on the grass. So I
don't understand how, when I'm walking my dog, if my dog starts to go towards something it shouldn't have, I pull the dog away. Why don't you do that? How does your dog repeatedly get sick like this?
So when I come back, I'm not as vigilant because I have already checked when I left.
Okay.
So when I come back, my guards are down, I'm more relaxed. But this time when we come back, now there's food out there. Do you see what I'm saying? And
barely.
That's how it was.
But okay, so what evidence do you have that she was leaving rotten food out?
Well, interestingly, the day that I went down to small claims court and filed my paperwork, I came home and my hands were full and I had put some things down on the chair to unlock my door and go on my door. And about an hour later, I realized I had left my cell phone. I think I had left it on the porch because that's when I had it last because I couldn't find it. So I go back out to look on the chair and there was my phone. Well, the next morning, I was going to go to Staples to print the pictures of the old rotten food that was on the grass, and the pictures were deleted off my phone.
So you think she went to your porch, took your phone, and deleted the pictures?
No, but next door, someone's in IT next door.
Can you just explain to me why you think she's doing this?
Because one night
because you've never seen her do any of the stuff you're saying.
Yes, I did.
You saw her drill a hole into your dog's favorite ball.
Oh, okay, that part, no, but the food.
You saw her leave. You saw her leave rotting food to poison your dog.
Yes.
Plaintiff says her neighbor is trying to intentionally poison her dog and is suing her for vet bills. But the defendant says she's been feeding the birds breadcrumbs for 25 years and didn't give the plaintiff's dog a thing. Let's listen.
One night I went to walk my dog and I came back around the block. I saw her in the middle. I said, so you're the person that's been doing that. And she says, well, I'm just feeding the birds. I'm like, to myself, I'm saying, you're feeding the birds at almost 11 o'clock at night?
Okay. Ms. Wilson, were you leaving out poisoned food for Ms. Hill's dog?
No, Your Honor.
What was it you were leaving out?
I was leaving out bread for the birds that I've been feeding like for the past 25 years when I lived over there in the neighborhood.
She says you were doing it at 11 at night and therefore it's a more nefarious motive. It doesn't sound like you're feeding birds at 11 at night. What say you to that?
I don't time myself. Sometimes I go out. I don't time myself with time when I go out to feed the birds. I could sometimes leave the bread out in the daytime. Sometimes I leave it out in the evening time.
Did you erase pictures of rotten food from her cell phone that she used to have?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Did you ever touch her cell phone?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
But you did complain about the dog barking a lot, right?
Very much so.
Tell me about that.
I don't know about the dog. I heard she said her dog was a service dog. But this dog is not a service dog. It might be a service dog to her, but to other people and to me, the dog is vicious.
How so?
He never really got used to my scent. I would walk up the stairs. He would come charging to the bar door, scratching, growling like he's ready to attack me. A couple of times the dog came after me.
All right. Did you file a complaint with animal control on the noise level or with the landlord or with anybody?
I filed a complaint with the animal shelter.
Well, not the shelter. With animal control, you mean?
Animal control, yeah.
All right, so when you filed the complaint, what ended up happening with the complaint with the animal control?
We had a Zoom meeting, and then they said that they would look over it, do whatever they had to do about it. I got a decision, and they were stating that Miss Jetra had to get rid of her dog, give him up, or send him out of the city of Los Angeles, and revoke her license.
Did you get that response, Ms. Hill?
No, I didn't.
Since you failed to refute the allegations, your dog is to be relinquished to the Department of Animal Services or be permanently removed from the city of Los Angeles. What is that a picture of?
Okay, someone has been coming into my house putting bird seed in my drawer.
Why would anybody do that?
They're trying to get me to move. Everything that's been done consecutively are attempts to get me to move.
What is this a picture of?
That's the cracked containers. And when I purchased the set, they were all no damages anywhere. A week after I purchased them, the 3 biggest containers, someone was entering my home, and this has been going on since the first day that I moved in.
Can I ask you a question? If I see a cracked plastic in my pantry, my first thought isn't, oh my God, my neighbor snuck into my house to crack so that I move. That is not the first thing I think of. What's this? This is what? A cut in your couch?
Because it's been a plethora of things that have been going on. That's just one of many. So that falls in line with all the other damages.
You know, it boggles the imagination that you really think that she's coming in there. You don't change the locks. I think you're making all this up because she got your dog, you know, with a court order that says it's got to be removed.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says she saw the defendant feed her dog some dirty, rotten food. She thinks it was intentional to harm the dog. But the defendant says the plaintiff's just angry because she called the dog warden on her, and they told her she needed to surrender her dog. Let's go back into the courtroom.
I'm trying to understand what evidence you have that she is sabotaging your life like this. Do you have any video of her? Listen to my question. Do you have any video of her coming into your home?
Okay, Judge.
Yes or no?
I don't have video.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So did you ever catch her in your home?
No. However, when we had our Zoom hearing and the officer asked her to explain how my dog looks, the way in which she described my dog, down to how tall he is, she described him to the T. And to describe him like that, you have to be very, very close to my dog. She said he was 4 feet tall. When he stands up,
I'm sorry, how is that evidence that she cracked your plastic container of baking goods?
Okay.
Like, how does that mean she was in your house? If you walk your dog every day, she can see your dog. So how on earth would what you just say be evidence of it?
Okay. The reason why I filed the case was to incur the vet charges, because while I don't have a camera showing her coming in and leaving out, I did have a general contractor come to my home, and he did take a look at the crawl space on my service porch. And I asked him, I said, can you tell me if someone can go up there and enter through my unit from the other side? And he did go up there, and he did say that someone can come into my unit from the other side.
So now you think it's not because she had a key to show you the place when you rented it, but it's because she's going through the crawl space and into your apartment to do things because she doesn't like your barking dog. But instead of killing your dog, she's going over there, and what she's doing is cracking your baked goods container or putting bird seed in your drawer. Did you ever go into her apartment, Ms. Wilson?
No.
Did you? Why is it that you did move?
I had a fire on the day after Thanksgiving. I had a fire, and my place was unlivable.
So, Ms. Hill, unless you have some kind, you're suing exactly for this, $721 in vet bills because your dog had a tummy ache. Is there any because you assume that she's poisoning your dog because one day you see her put out some food, and according to you, you had evidence that it was rotten food, but she must have gone to your porch and erased all your pictures, so now you don't have evidence. Okay.
I don't.
So do you have any other proof that you wish to submit to me?
I don't have any other pictures of the food because they were deleted off my phone. All the other beautiful pictures of my dog were interestingly deleted off my phone. Another lady around the corner who walks her dog on my street had been getting sick as well. So, but I haven't been able to reach her because she moved out of the country.
Okay, but here's the thing, Ms. Hill, here's the thing. In order to get $721 from Ms. Wilson, you would have to prove to me, because you have the burden of proof when you come to court, you've got to prove that it is more likely than not that this person was poisoning your dog, and therefore they're responsible for the vet bills because it's their fault that your dog was getting sick. Do you think you've proven that here today?
Well, what I can say, Judge, is that she was putting the rotten food not in front of our building. She was putting it in front of the building next door.
There's a very easy way. If you see that there's something your dog shouldn't eat, then you should be in control of your dog and make sure your dog doesn't eat it. You have repeated visits to the vet because your dog was having stomach aches. And you are somehow turning that into this lady who complained about your dog, saying it was vicious and barked too long and too loud, is the one who was leaving out poisoned food. You haven't proven that at all. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the plaintiff fails to prove her case. She does not get $700 and some from the defendant. Ms. Hill, let me ask you, number one, what do you think about the judge's decision? You've lost the case.
Well, if I had the pictures that interestingly were deleted off my phone the day I filed the case, then that would have been my proof. So I have no idea how the pictures got deleted.
Are you blaming Ms. Wilson for that?
I don't think she did it, but the people next door, they're into IT, and she works closely with them. So I think she had an accomplice.
Well, here, let me ask you a simple question. It looks like the city has issued an order for you to get rid of the dog. You've done nothing about that yet, right? They may come and take the dog from you any day.
I didn't even know. Yeah, that's true. So when I get off this TV with you, I have to go and follow up on that because I never received that notice. And that's not the first piece of mail that I have never gotten that someone said that was sent to me.
All right. Well, bottom line is you did not prove your case. You don't get any $727 from the defendant, and you better do something or the city's going to come up and take your dog. It's going to happen. You got to take some action quick. Ms. Wilson, how do you feel about this case now? You know, you're the one who made all this action happen. Now you've left the premises. You're not even there anymore, right?
I'm gone, but other people still have trouble with the dog.
All right. So are you moving back in there? You moving back into that apartment?
Maybe. I'm thinking about it.
No.
I don't have a yes.
Well, you may be out of the picture altogether. Anyway, you don't have to pay, so I guess you're relieved about that. Am I right? You feel good about that?
Very happy, very happy, very happy. Okay. Yes, sir.
Right.
Very happy.
All right. Well, there's a pretty fascinating case here. Thank you very much, and congratulations, you're off the hook. Harvey, this is kind of an unusual one. What do you think?
Well, look, I mean, in this case, Doug, the plaintiff had no proof. And that kind of raises a fundamental issue when you go to court. You cannot go to court on a theory that somebody did something that harmed you or harmed your animal. This is a situation where the plaintiff has no proof. It's all speculation. She has the burden of proof, and that ain't enough.
Why doesn't Judge Marilyn award lost wages more often? It seems like a legit ask to me.
Well, it could be a legit ask. It's just that people ask for lost wages in every single case.
Right.
They constantly think that a $100 lawsuit turns into a $7,000 lawsuit.
Right.
I was so upset that I couldn't go to work for 3 weeks. You know, lost wages can be a very legitimate expense. For example, if your dog attacks my dog and I have to take 3 days off to take my dog back and forth to the vet or in a hospital and care for the dog or whatever.
That may be compensable.
That's compensable because that's something that you can expect to have happen. Right. But a lot of people just sue for lost wages. Right. Well, it took me 3 days to prepare this case, so I should get paid.
Contract claim. You know, I loaned him $50 and
he didn't pay me back,
he didn't pay me back.
All of a sudden a $50 claim. I'm a brain surgeon, so it's now a $10,000 claim.
Right.
That's not how it works.
I get $10,000 a minute, whatever it might be, right? I think it was Ben Franklin said that lost time is never found. So people are very aware of just frittering their time away, trying to prepare for a lawsuit, trying to defend a lawsuit, going to and from court and dealing with all that stuff.
Yeah,
but part of
their
it
annoyance is what they're trying to be compensated for.
And judges have to separate the normal inconveniences and frustrations that people confront in everyday life when they have any kinds of conflicts like this versus legitimate compensable
lost wages,
time.
compensable lost wages time.
Okay, that's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. By the way, you want more People's Court? Check out our podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.